Good afternoon. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins, and this is our regular weekly update. Today is May 27th. We'll be joined momentarily by the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, and we're going to go through some information, whether it's talking about the challenges that are happening at the federal level for all the things that I'm trying to navigate through the reconciliation bills, both what passed in the House of Representatives and then what's moving forward over to the U.S. Senate for their consideration. We're certainly going to talk about things that are upcoming in Westchester County as far as our Pride flag raising, which is going to be this Sunday at 11:30 in the morning, June 1st. As we talk about that, certainly we'll be back to talk about the nationally accredited and award-winning park system, and that's what we're going to start with this afternoon. Talking about Memorial Day weekend. Certainly, hopefully everyone went and participated locally in one of the many Memorial Day ceremonies in their local communities. We had ours at Lasden Park on Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and again, we had participation. I went to several around Westchester County, and I will tell you that from the parades and from the various events and recognition and remembrance events that happened, there were many people that had turned out. Certainly it was a beautiful day on Memorial Day on Monday, but in addition to that, there was just a feeling around the county, no matter which community I went to, no matter where it was, that there were a tremendous amount of people that wanted to make sure that they were displaying their support and flags for the people for Memorial Day, for those that gave their all for us to be able to do the things that we're doing, for the rights that we have today. They gave all of their service and paid the ultimate price for that. And certainly everyone around the county that I went to, again, remembered that part. It wasn't just about the fun things and the unofficial start of summer, as people have pointed out, but again, to remember those who made that ultimate sacrifice. And again, Westchester residents certainly made their support known for those folks that we lost in their service of the country, as well as their family members that here are as well. So again, with that, but then we had certainly this weekend, as everyone recognized, at Playland to be open on Memorial Day weekend, starting on Saturday the 24th with a wonderful ceremony kicking things off with Costa and almost 350 to 400 people that were waiting for the park to open. There was just a tremendous amount of work that was done to get us to this place. You know, Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, that team, and certainly we're going to have some more words in about that in just a moment. Department of Public Works and Transportation and their teams that were out there, IT, making sure that things were running in the background from an IT perspective, certainly public safety and the rangers and everyone, keeping everyone safe and moving things forward. Our consultants and contractors that worked with us, there's the Perla company that did the work with us, not inspecting rides, but making sure that they were helping to service the rides. All of the food truck vendors, the contractors, it was just a tremendous effort by everyone in basically pulling everything together in over a month period after the initial analysis was done, which started right away, and to continue to do those things forward. But there's one person that deserves the shout outs for the work that he has done for Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, someone that started in his career doing his things in Playland, being a person that was working on marketing, and he'll tell us more about that. But again, I never have seen such a big smile on his face, except standing next to Costa, which always brings a smile on everyone's face, and that is the first Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Peter Tartaglia. Pete, come on down and tell us some more about the things that happened at Playland this week. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. On behalf of Kathy O'Connor, the Commissioner, and myself, it was a wonderful event and a wonderful weekend. We couldn't have done this without the support of this administration and every other department that Ken's mentioned, from the county executive on down. Everybody has helped us to get to this point. Playland, we always refer to it as many things. Most importantly, it's the People's Park. We feel it was the People's Park this Memorial Day weekend. We had so many people at the park. We're taking attendance by car right now, and each day it successively went up from over 2,000 to over 5,000 to close to 6,000. So over the entire weekend, we've serviced thousands of people. I was personally there to see the smiles on people's faces. Yesterday in particular, Memorial Day, was a wonderful weather day, and to see the people out. Now, we understand that not every ride is open, that we are getting back on our feet, and we had 13 rides open, 8 Kittyland and 5 in the big park. We had food trucks. We had a game room open for play, and all of that was for free, as well as the parking. We wanted to reintroduce the public to Playland Park, and Playland Park will thrive going forward. Let's not forget the $150 million investment that's been made, that continues to be made at the park on the infrastructure that Westchester County has led, not only by the funding, but through the design and the construction. We have had so many partners, it's so hard to mention everyone. I have to say our Parks Department, every division, and every director has worked with us. Our HR division has worked with the county's HR division in an assembly line of interviewing over 500 young people, mostly for jobs, over the last few weeks. I could go on and on, the IT services, the contract services, the law department needs, so many things. It takes a county to do what we've done. And going forward, we ask that the public has patience with us. We will continue on our social media pages and through venues like this press event each week and other ways. We'll let the public know what will be open from week to week. We will open things as they are safely ready to open, and you will see that will multiply as time goes on. So we will continue to be open. Right now it's planned for weekends in this season, and we'll be introducing other hours as we get closer to the actual beginning of summer. But to say that this was done in a short amount of time is an understatement, and I couldn't be prouder of the county that I work for, from the county executive's office to the board of legislators to every department and every worker in the Parks Department, who is absolutely unbelievable, and our partner departments. I could go on, but I don't want to take up too much time. Stay tuned, hang with us, and we will be introducing more things all season at Playland Park. Thank you.
Thanks again. Thank you. Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner from the Departments of Park, Recreation, and Conservation, and he's being kind of shy about the things that had to happen in order to make that happen. It was an all-out effort that included people working late nights, early mornings, and no less than a county team that gave 1,000% to make that happen, and not just in PRC, of course, because they love parks all the time. That's why they're nationally accredited and award-winning park system. But additionally, every partner entity, every department made sure to pitch in. And again, it's a testament to everyone who loves Playland. No more person than Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner, that was there. Our partnership with the state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul, of course, but Commissioner Roberta Reardon and the people from the Department of Labor that work to certify those rides that going up. And as Peter Tartaglia was just talking about, you could see the thought process that went into the planning and how to move things forward, dividing the park into basically quadrants, one quadrant being the Kittyland section, and certainly that's the one that attracts actually the most people to go through it on a regular basis, and then going on the opposite side of Kittyland again, so when you walk through the park, those first two entrances with the beautiful work that was done on the colonnades, which again, $150 million worth of work. We have to remind people that that's the infrastructure work. A lot of times you just can't see all the work that was done to be able to put things into shape. The rides and those kind of things were standard amusements, responsibility, and the regular operational things. And again, we're going to go down that road. But again, to get the things working and moving forward, and as the first Deputy Commissioner pointed out, more things are going to continue to open up. The parks open really on the weekends until we get to the summer season. So basically over the next month until the end of June. He said that we had some tremendous numbers that happened, close to 3,000 people on Saturday, a little over 2,800 on the estimate, and that was just from the cars. People came to the park in public transportation as well. And again, that was just a rough estimate of those numbers. We pretty much are confident the numbers are much higher than that, again, at the end of the day. So around 15,000 people, thousands of people took advantage of being able to come to Playland. It was the department's call and recommendation that makes the parking free for this weekend. This weekend coming up and moving forward is going to the $10 that we promised everyone in the beginning of the year that it would go to. But also we've made sure to point out what the First Deputy pointed out as well, was that the biggest part of the Playland experience is families being able to walk around, and you see the smiles on people's and on the young folks' faces, but also the experienced folks' faces, the grandparents and parents walking around just trying to enjoy what is a park, and people should remember that. And we won't be going back to that scenario where we charged people to just even walk into the park. So again, on behalf of the Commissioner, Kathy O'Connor, First Deputy, Peter Tartaglia, and everyone, Frank Carriere, the General Manager that's out there, there's just so much work that had to get done to be able to do that. So again, over 15,000 people taking advantage of that. And, you know, we watch social media, of course, and we're always sensitive to those things. A lot of times those folks that are doing that, they're watching every step of the way and seeing things that happen. The fact of the matter is the overwhelming majority of people, even on social media, were so appreciative that the county opened the park, let people walk around in the park, and understood and made clear that there were 13 rides that were going to be open, and people took advantage of those, and the numbers went up every day. So starting about 3,000, 2,880 was the estimate on Saturday, and close to 6,000 people on Memorial Day, which was just outstanding, beautiful day. So again, there's congratulations and kudos to go all around. And again, everyone will understand we're going to continue to move forward in that, to move further back into the park the way people like to think about it. So we'll be making some announcements later on this week about what things are going to be open after, of course, New York State comes in, Department of Labor, and certifies those rides to move forward. We had one or two we could have actually opened this weekend, but we weren't quite ready yet. So again, there's a plan in mind, and we're going to keep having that great work being done by our outstanding Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, and Pete Tartaglia, and all the great folks that are out there. So he's going to go back out there, do some more work, and make sure that we have things going on. And obviously, Deputy County Executive Richard Wisney is going to come up, and we're going to talk some more about that later on when he tells all about the other things out of the 55-plus facilities that we have in PRC, because there's always exciting things going on, even this past weekend, but no more exciting than Playland. So congratulations, Pete, to you and the entire team. So thanks again. We're going to ask the Deputy County Executive to join me here, Richard Wisney, as we talk through some things that are happening here for us at our state level. Certainly, again, every facility at Playland over the weekend, the Deputy County Executive would also continue to remind us that we had our great partners out there, whether it was the Tiki Pier, Beach Pier Restaurant, or the 5 food trucks that we had out there from Graciella's, Westchester Burger, Lulu's, Walter's Hot Dogs, and certainly Mr. Softy, because again, without ice cream, it just doesn't work at Playland, so we always have to do that. So, again, we're going to continue to move forward on Playland as things move forward, as we move further back into the park. And stay tuned; it's going to be great, a great time at Playland. So go out and play. And every time we see a sticker somewhere, no matter where that is in the world, we know people love Playland. So we're going to keep moving forward. Last week we were reporting, while we switched gears, about talking about some other things that are really important to all of our Westchester residents, as we saw the House Reconciliation Bill go forward, and now it goes over to the Senate side, and we're really concerned about a few different items that have been concerned. So last week at the First Responders Memorial, I talked about, while we were running our fingers across the engraved names of the brave men and women who gave their lives for our country, who worked on the pile on 9/11 and ultimately succumbed to a 9/11 related illness. It was because of those men and women, we're going to call on all of our federal elected officials here that represent us in Westchester County to vote against that House reconciliation bill that moved across the line over to the Senate side. So we're asking our U.S. Senators, both of them, to vote against this because this bill cuts Medicaid, SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, hospital support, support for seniors, women, and children. And of late, they also slashed the funding for the World Trade Center health program. That's that program, again, that supports all of those folks that were working on the pile. And Matt McCauley told us when we were privileged enough to have the 9/11 memorial folks from around the country be here with us in Westchester, pointed out that $6 billion was cut out of that program that supports all of those folks that worked on those on the pile, those first responders, and other individuals that went down there to assist in that toxic fumes. No matter what that combination was, we owe it to each and every person that's there to make sure that that funding is there. So we're expecting our at least Senate side to continue to make that fight to move forward on this. This program is a critical lifeline for more than 135,000 first responders, survivors, and their families impacted by the 9/11 attacks, many of whom still live with serious, often debilitating health conditions. These aren't statistics. They're our neighbors, they're our coworkers, and our friends. And we owe them more than just gratitude for the work they did. We owe them the care and support that they have rightfully earned. So this Friday, May 30th, marks the anniversary of the formal end of rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. So as we reflect on the courage and sacrifice shown by so many on that day and every day since, let us also be reminded of our continuing responsibility to care for those heroes is not finished. Westchester County is going to stand united in urging all of our federal elected leaders to act, and our 9/11 heroes are counting on that. I want to pass over to the Deputy County Executive to talk about some other items that are also in that bill.
Thank you, sir. As the county executive said, these are very serious issues and affecting millions of people across the country, and certainly here in Westchester County. As you all know, Westchester families are being taxed twice, and it has to stop. Since the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act imposed a $10,000 cap on state and local tax, which are considered SALT deductions, New York is a donor state, meaning that we send more money to Washington than we get back. And therefore, our residents should have shouldered an unfair tax burden. These families include nurses, teachers, first responders, and small business owners, doing everything right and getting penalized just for living in Westchester County. This suggested law cannot become a permanent law, as it's doing so much damage to our citizens here. The SALT deduction allows residents to deduct either their state and local income taxes or their state and local general taxes, sales taxes. It also allows for the deduction of property taxes, assuming their income or sales taxes don't put them over the cap. The county and our officials here in Westchester County have raised this issue over and over, and our message remains the same. Full repeal of the SALT cap is the only fair solution. There were not previously caps on income, and there should be none now. Half measures like raising the cap as proposed to $30,000 won't undo the damage. Enough is enough. The SALT cap should expire at the end of this year, just like the assault weapons ban expired. We urge the federal government to stand up for fairness, economic justice, and the future of Westchester's working families by fighting for a full repeal of the SALT cap. Mr. County Executive.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. What we have right now, again, is some significant issues, and we're asking, making sure that everyone continues to stand strongly in trying to fight against these things for Westchester, which have such a negative impact. As the Deputy County Executive pointed out previously to 2017, when these particular law went into effect, that at the end of 2025, that SALT deduction repeal would be expiring. So again, there was not a previous cap on that. So it was an ability to not be double taxed on property taxes, local property taxes, and school taxes, and there was not an income limit to that. Again, because that's the money that you pay to the local municipalities around Westchester County to operate the things that you do, the choices that all of us make in communities that we choose to live in, whether that was for school taxes, whether that was for local property taxes, or for anything else that was necessary to make sure your quality of life was great here in the state of New York. And by federal law prior to 2017, it was a deduction so that you did not have double taxation on that. Again, you paid those taxes to be able to have those services done, and the majority, everyone recognized, almost 80% of that is for your school tax. So again, any kinds of impacts in a negative way to that is something that was just something that was unconscionable, and everyone on every side of the aisle said they wanted to fight against that, to figure out a way to bring those deductions back up at least to $100,000, and as well, and didn't have any income tax caps on that as well. But again, we're asking all of our federal representatives to continue to stand strongly and fight against those things on behalf of the County of Westchester. So again, we want to remind people that, again, your voice has to be heard, and it's constituents like all of us that talk to our federal representatives to let them know that we will not support any efforts that would be anything less than repealing the entire thing and making sure we're protecting our first responders and all the other things that are important to us, whether it's for Medicaid folks with almost 235,000 Westchester residents that are receiving some form of Medicaid. It is something that we have to continue to fight all together as we move forward in this particular time. This week, switching gears, we're going to have a Complete Streets open house. Right. So the New York State Department of Transportation will host an open house to gather input about future improvements for the US Route 1 corridor in Mamaroneck and Larchmont. Most of us think of that as the Post Road or as Boston Post Road. The goal of this meeting is to identify alternatives that will enhance safety for the traveling public, promote active transportation, pedestrian, and support pedestrian and bicycle transit. That includes Route 1, so the project limits along Route 1, US 1 from Dillon Road to Hornridge Road. And again, that's the corridor that's basically in Larchmont and Mamaroneck. That's going to take place on June 5th, 2025. It's from 5 to 7. It's going to take place in Mamaroneck High School and be open to the public. I believe we're going to start this week on Route 1, but we're going to be in the city of New Rochelle, which is part of also the Complete Streets project. But this upcoming public hearing is specifically regarding the Route 1 corridor as in Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and that's going to be, again, June 5th from 5 to 7. Any interested residents can get involved and make their concerns and voices heard, and we should continue to do this for the Complete Streets project, working with the New York State Department of Transportation. As I pointed out when we first started out tonight, June 1st is LGBTQ pride flag raising ceremony for us in Westchester County. That's going to be at 11:30 a.m. right outside here in White Plains at the McKellian Office Building. Again, that annual ceremony marks the beginning of Pride Month and reaffirms Westchester County's commitment to equality, visibility, and support for the LGBTQIA+ community. Members of the public are encouraged to attend and stand in solidarity as the Progress Pride flag, rainbow flag, is raised high above the county seat, and that's going to happen again on June 1st. And then that's followed by the Loft's annual celebration here in the city of White Plains that kicks off at 12. So 11:30 a.m. right here in White Plains for our beginning of Pride Month and the raising of the Progress Pride flag 11:30 on Sunday, June 1st. With that, let me turn back over to the Deputy County Executive for Parks.
Thank you, sir. Before I do that, I do want to recognize that while we were all celebrating the opening of Playland Park, a very busy weekend, of course, recognizing those Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and we celebrated in many communities across Westchester County. And I have to tell you that our hardworking county executive spent the weekend doing all the things that make him very special to all of us here at the county. In addition, yesterday was his birthday, and we do want to mention a happy birthday to our wonderful, wonderful county executive. He often tells us all about our nationally accredited award-winning Parks and Recreation program that we've seen the results of that for many years now. And again, as the county executive said, having Playland opened in this relatively short period of time, taking it over from a private operator who made last-minute notice that they would not run it anymore. County executive made a decision and made it clear to all of us in county government that that park was going to open up for our citizens once again on the Memorial Day weekend. And because of him and his work, we were able to get that done. So we're very proud of that result for our citizens. And with that, we do want to talk a little bit about some of the additional programs that will be happening over the next few weeks. On this Wednesday, May 28th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., the American Civil War, a war of firsts, at Lasden Park at the Veterans Memorial facility there. There's a free exhibit with interactive displays, explores the significant innovations in warfare, medicine, weaponry, transportation, and other vital advancements that emerged during the Civil War. That takes place Wednesdays through Sundays throughout the rest of this year. And we had a chance over the holiday season, a holiday weekend, to stop up at Lasden Park for the celebration there, and we were able to see that that free exhibit. It's beautiful, and we encourage people to take a moment and stop by and see it. On Thursday, May 29th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., again, the Farm to Fable event will be held at Hilltop Hanover Farm in Yorktown. It's for ages 3 to 6 to explore the whimsy of the world around them by combining storytelling with hands-on activities on the farm. This free event takes place indoors, and it will also run on June 5th, June 12th, and July 5th. And on Friday, May 30th, from 5:10 a.m. to 6:10 a.m. is the sunrise hike to overlook at the Del Bello Muscoot Farm. Those that are ages 18 and older can see the beautiful views as the sun rises over the farm and surrounding land. It's a peaceful, easygoing, and fresh start to your day. The walks leave promptly to ensure that everyone can catch the sunrise. Each walk is weather dependent, and an email will go out the day before if it's being canceled due to weather. Also, it will run on June 17th at 5 a.m. start. That's a little bit earlier, but it is quite an experience, and hopefully people will take advantage of that. Then on Saturday, May 31st, from 12 to 6, the Asian Heritage Festival. This is a big deal. This will be held at the Kensico Dam Plaza in Valhalla. The celebration will showcase Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Thai, and Indonesian cultures with live songs, dances, musical performances, ethnic foods, Asian arts and cultural exhibits, Chinese paper cutting, and origami. Admission and parking are free. We expect a tremendous crowd to be there. Hopefully the weather will cooperate as well. And then finally, on Sunday, June 1st, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., once again, we have Bicycle Sunday on the Bronx River Parkway. And as we've mentioned before, this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of a closed-down parkway, bring your bikes, bring your walkers, bring your scooters, whatever. Come out and enjoy and get your exercise in. Mr. County Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy County Executive. Again, just to reiterate one more time, again, the Deputy County Executive always ends our conversations with talking about things that are happening in our park system, and there's a reason that it's nationally accredited. But again, trying to see all those things, you should make sure to sign up for the Parks e-newsletter. To sign up for the Parks e-newsletter, make sure you go on to westchestercountyny.gov or westchestergov.com to be able to see that. It's just signing that up, and you may even see some discount coupons for those kind of things that are happening. And there are so many things in 55 different facilities, whether it's for summer programs that are coming up, things that are happening in the park that you could take advantage of. Bicycle Sunday is just another example of that, and we have great partners with the Parks Foundation and the three main sponsors that continue to do the work with us, NYP in Bronxville, Con Edison, and certainly Danny Cycle, I think, is this year's cycle participant. To be able to do that, we partner with our friends in Scarsdale for the Scarsdale Farmers Market at Destination Scarsdale. I always like to point out it's about halfway on the Bronx River Parkway going from Yonkers up to White Plains. It's about halfway. If you're coming from White Plains down, it's downhill, but it's uphill going the other way from Yonkers, the way that I would normally do that. And that's usually a really good stop to have, whether or not to take advantage of all the great things that are happening in Destination Scarsdale from a partnership perspective. This week, and starting off with the great work that was done at Playland by everyone in order to do that. Want to make sure we give a shout out to one other partner that was there helping out and doing their thing, which was the Westchester Children's Museum, that had, again, an opportunity, again, for everyone to be able to participate and see what things are happening. And just a quick reminder, again, that parking will be $10 this weekend. That's what we published in the initial component, and we had a surprise where we even waived that for this past weekend, but that's coming back. And again, take advantage of all of those different opportunities. We talked today to remind everyone once again that there's some serious financial impacts that are happening for all of us. That's going through the federal reconciliation process. Right now, it's on the U.S. Senate side. The House members already voted to move that across, and the United States senators have made it clear that they're going to stand and make changes to that. So we're going to make sure to continue to raise our voices, whether it's about trying to make sure that the SALT deduction is fully repealed, making sure that we want everyone to stand against this bill because there's just so many bad things in it, whether it's about supplemental nutrition programs, SNAP, Medicaid impacts, and not least of all, the impact to our 9/11 related illnesses fund, the $6 billion for that, for those folks that went down to the pile, first responders that were down there, people that are in contracting, entities that went down to do whatever they could, and for the support of their families to make sure they're navigating through that with the illnesses that they have to contend with and deal with. Again, it's not just enough to have lip service and say we support everyone. It's making sure that the dollars are there following those up, and we need to continue to say that. Sunday, June 1st, for flag raising for Pride Month. Again, if the county's program is going to start at 11:30 on Sunday, June 1st. And again, when we talk about the cultural heritage festivals that we have, Asian American Heritage Festivals at Kensico Dam Plaza on May 31st, the last day of May, to be able to do that again during Asian American Pacific Islander Month that we have here in Westchester County and around the country. So again, to take advantage of that. And this week, we're also going to have the complete streets program rollout here in Westchester, but on June 5th, and we'll make sure to say this again next week, that there's going to be a New York State Department of Transportation-led open house to continue to gather input about that. I know that some people were wondering about Con Ed. We have not announced the date. We're waiting for New York State to do that. It's going to be in July, so I can give you that heads up that you'll have an opportunity to make your voices heard about the Con Ed rate case sometime in July, but we'll talk to you more about that in the future. But that's going to be in person here in Westchester, and certainly we thank the folks at the New York State Public Service Commission for listening to our plea to do that. And again, there's just so many things happening in Westchester County. We want to thank everyone for watching today. We certainly want to make sure to thank, again, the first Deputy Commissioner from the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Peter Tartaglia, a playland enthusiast that was here with us, the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wisney, who's always here with us, and all of you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate everything that everyone does for us here in Westchester County in partnership. And again, I'm Ken Jenkins, Westchester County Executive. We'll be back to you if anything else comes up that needs your attention. Have a great day.